Is the Cumbrian Way all like this? Amazing cloud inversions as the sun rises, fantastic views as the sun catches the hilltops. Come along with me on this adventure on the Cumbrian Way and find out. The Lake District in the middle of November, backpacking. Well, that's not something that would normally sound too appealing somehow, but we've got a fantastic weather window of 4 days that's opened up and I managed to get away. Morning everyone. Big clue where I am now. You know that moment when all the days and evenings of planning and looking at maps and guidebooks and packing your rucksack, all of a sudden that's over and you find yourself at the start of the trail with nothing left to do but to head off up the path. Well, that's where I am now. There's nothing else I can do to delay the start of the trail. I've got here nice and early into lverston. I've had a nice slap up breakfast. I've faffed about with my rucksack for a few minutes. I've taken a few photographs and now really there's nothing left to do it for it but to head on off up that path and get busy. And I've got that kind of buzz, that excitement at the very start of another trail. So a big grin on my face. That's probably because I haven't really had to do any hard walking yet. But the rucksack seems like an old friend on the back. I'm doing this walk solo. It means I've only got myself for company and my own sparkling wit and conversation. But it also means that I'm totally, if you like, self-reliant when it comes to decision making, route choices, all that kind of stuff. I've just found the first hill. I suspect there's going to be quite a few big steep hills along this trail, as I'll find out my fitness. The first day, which I'm on now, and notoriously the last day of the trail, are less dramatic, less mountainous, less kind of Lake District, if you like, than the rest of the path. But I think actually that's going to work to my advantage because, follow me closely here, I think it's very tempting on the first day of a path to, when you're full of excitement and enthusiasm and fresh legs, to sort of get your head down and push just a little bit too hard and go a little bit too far when your rucksack's just a little bit too heavy. This first day being not so mountainous, if you like, not so hilly, not so challenging, it could be a good sort of way of settling into the trail, if you like. I've only been walking for 5 minutes, it seems, and already my trail runners are caked in, well, let's just say there seem to be a lot of cows around here. Most people, when you talk to them about walking while camping, the standard response is, "You must be mad." And there may be some truth in that. And on a day like today, with a big blue sky above me and lovely scenery all around, well, you know what? Who's mad now? And my pack, I would say it's probably the dry weight is under 9 kilos for sure. But of course, it's a bit more bulky at this time of year, and that's really because I'm carrying just a bit more sort of warm weather gear than I normally would. So for example, I'm carrying a bit more gas because I may well be wanting to do a bit more cooking or warming up in the tent overnight. Right, I've just finished the first climb of the trail really. I got a lovely view, which is delicious, but I have a funny feeling that my complexion might start to match the colour of my jacket soon. So my legs are going, they're saying to me, what? What? But I know, from past experience, I have faith that after a day or two, they'll be back to their good old selves and we'll be steaming up and down those hills with barely a second thought. I'd already given up on the puffy jacket, it was getting a little bit warm, because I've been stomping up this here hill, but the payoff, now that I'm up to the top, is the amazing views. Really, really stunning. So what are my first impressions of the trail? Normal situation when you're going through lots of farmland, so undulating farmland, is it's kind of difficult to get into your stride, you know, because every seems like too often there's a stile or something like that to sort of break the rhythm of the walking. Oh, there's a stile. Which is a little bit sort of frustrating. You can't really get into a proper walking rhythm. The other thing I'm going to say straight away is that the signage and the way that the path is maintained, well, there's no two ways about it, it sucks. This is supposed to be a big trail through a beautiful part of the world to encourage people to visit, and yet there's no sign of any real maintenance of the signage and the styles and that kind of thing. And here's a good example. So I guess there was a signpost at some point here a long time ago, but not anymore. Also, that's got to be a milestone, has it? My first grumble of the trail. Nice to get that out of the way. Oh, what was I saying about poor signposting along the way? This is actually where the path goes, and if I hadn't been paying attention to the guidebook, it would have been very easy to miss this. Just to reach the junction in the road and looked out into the distance. That is the Old Man of Coniston, and if I've still got some energy left tomorrow morning, the plan is to cross over that in the coal. I don't know, is it just the mist or what, but it does look quite a long way away now. It looks a long way away and it looks quite high, but apart from that, it's very tempting. So I'm just hoping it's an illusion caused by the fact that it's a long way away and quite high. Oh, I'm getting a bit fed up with this. So the guidebook says stream, straight ahead, metal farm gate. So stream, straight ahead, metal farm gate. But no, they don't mean that metal farm gate, they mean this metal farm gate. I think I can be excused because the only signs that are visible are on this post. You'd think, wouldn't you, that that's kind of leading you the path up driving through that field, but we're going this way through a big ugly looking gate with big red private land signs on it. I'm learning fast that at every junction, check and double check both the map and the guidebook. And I don't think there's any mistaking, having said that, where the path goes now. I get the distinct impression that when the path was established a few years ago now, then lots of the little waymarking discs were attached to stiles and fences and this kind of thing to help you find your way. Those discs are now faded, fallen off, broken, obscured, etc. And most of the good signs now seem to be hand-painted ones that have been put up by the farmers just to prevent people wandering lost over their fields in random directions. Having said all that, I am actually enjoying it. It is beautiful. In the distance I can still see the monument above the start of the trail, and it seems like it looks like half a mile away. I've been walking all day. As I'm heading up this trail, I've got a view of the high level option for tomorrow opening up in front of me, and oh my goodness, there's Coniston Water. So there's Coniston Water, and as I pan round, right ahead of me is that kind of notch, and the higher hill to the right is Coniston Old Man, and the pass to the left or west of it is my option to go over tomorrow. This is starting to feel a lot more real, a lot more exciting. Still going, still traversing lanes, farms, paths over farmland, stiles, gates, more farmland. You get the idea. But slowly, inexorably, my destination is getting nearer and nearer. And if you want any idea of what the path has been like today, I think the state of my trousers and trail runners probably tells you all you need to know, really, doesn't it? Somewhere over there is where I'm going to be tonight. Oh wow, look at that. Just got a glimpse of Beacon Tarn coming to view as I've come over the hill there. Oh, that looks idyllic. Oh, fantastic. And behind it, the Old Man of Coniston looming, saying, "Don't get too comfortable, Charles. I'm ready for you tomorrow." Look at that lovely mackerel patterned sky, the clouds. Glorious. And even more glorious is the sight of this lovely tarn, Beacon Tarn. And third thing that's glorious is this lovely spot flat grass, ideal for pitching a tent, you might say. So this is my spot for tonight. Now the sun has just gone down, it's starting to get a bit chilly as well, so no offence, I'm going to say good night for now and just get the tent put up and get set up, and then I'll chat to you in a few minutes time. This has got to be one of the best ever places that I've found to wild camp. The surface of the lake is absolutely still and flat, reflecting the sky. And I've got myself a beautiful spot to pitch the tent overlooking the lake just off the trail. And it's just starting to get dark. The sun's gone down and it's got a real feeling of dusk in the air. I'm a lucky sod, you know. On that note, I think it's time to get in the tent, get warm, cook some food. Good morning. The sun has just come up over the horizon there, beautiful sunrise, and a really good night's sleep. Chilly, but I was comfortable in the sleeping bag and everything. And just look how still the lake is this morning, not a breath of wind. I'm nearly ready to go. Appearances might be deceptive here, but everything's sort of packed away inside the tent and in one of the vestibules ready to be loaded into the rucksack. But it's quite there's quite a bit of condensation around, so I'm going to wipe down the outside of the tent with a sponge and then get everything packed away. But we should be gone in about 10 minutes, I should think. This could be a perfect day's backpacking in the Lake District. Right, that must be the first 100 metres of walking completed of the day. Muscles, you know, are still warming up a bit, getting used to the weight of the pack again. Actually, I've got to say, the pack doesn't seem too heavy. I don't know if you know that feeling when you first lift up your pack in the morning or whatever. It can either go one of two ways, I think. Either you're thinking, dear God, what's in this thing? It feels really heavy. Or there's a kind of, oh, actually, that's not so bad. And this morning was one of those, oh, actually, it's not so bad moments. So this morning, I don't know if it comes across, I'm all chipper, I'm all upbeat and happy and looking forward to the day. I think my mood may change as soon as we get to the first big hill, but for the moment, everything's looking really good. Right, coming up towards decision time, and the choice is, do I go for the mountain route today or do I stick to the main route of the Cumbria Way? Decisions. So the mountain route goes that way and the standard way goes down there. And the mountain route goes over the col between Dow Crags and the Coniston Old Man. The mountain route take me up to the tops, and then I got a choice. I can either go down the ridge of Wedderlum or carry on over Pike up Lisco to get into Langdale. To be honest, after yesterday's low-level navigation comings and goings, I feel that I really want to be up higher, get some nice views up there possibly, and get a bit more into the wild. And also that route is a bit more direct and hence fewer miles. Apart from the fact, of course, that there is a bit of steep up and down involved, but I think the price is worth paying. Right, decision made. Off we go. I did have a plan B for last night's camp, and that was somewhere beside this lake, which is a lake with no name. Beautifully still, look at those reflections. But looking around now, I honestly can't see anywhere that looks particularly good for pitching a tent, so I'm quite relieved that I stopped when I did, because it looks a bit tricky around here. I'm just approaching Torva now, coming up to the village, and what do I see? The Torva Deli. It's open. I could not have prayed for a better sight. Look at me. I've only gone and found myself a decent cup of coffee Having that smoking hot mocha to lift my spirits. This is the Wilson Inn in Torver, but this is delicious and hitting the spot because it's still quite a cool morning. Although the sun's up, there's quite a thin hazy cloud, so it's not really heating things up very much. So I'm taking a break for 5 minutes, taking the advantage of the opportunity for a hot coffee, and then we've got to slog all our way up over the next hill. Cheers. That hot cup of coffee is a distant memory now. I've been climbing up out of the valley half an hour or so. The day's warming up a little bit now, but it's still comfortable just weighing space there, climbing up, even though the ambient's about 6 or 7 degrees at the moment, and my unfit body is generating plenty of warmth to keep me warm. We go up the right side of the stream and work our way over the shoulder into the valley in front of Dell Crag. This is going to be absolutely gorgeous. And even better, looks like the next quarter of a mile's downhill. Get in. Well, finally made it up to the tarn. So there's just that last climb to go. This tarn and this corrie are simply blissful. Nowhere to pitch a tent though. I'm just taking 5. I've had something to eat, a slug of water. The water's crystal clear in this lovely little lake here. And just chilling for 5 minutes, giving the legs a bit of a rest, had a bit of a stretch before we go up to the top.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Whoa, I'm at the top. Just come up from there. Took me 18 minutes and my pulse rate, I just checked, I don't know why I checked, but my pulse is 134 when I got to the top. Whew. So I think I might just take a minute here to relax and recover a bit. But the good news is that's the big climb of the day out of the way. If I swing round, Scafell Pike, Mickledore, and I think I just saw an RAF jet. There they are, 2 of them, 3 of them. How nice of them to lay on a little bit of a fly past in honour of my walk. Now I've taken a breath, going to hit the trail again and see which views are just over the top there. Can't quite believe how lucky I am with these conditions. There's not a breath of wind. Should have worn my sunglasses. A lovely, glorious sunshine, and so the views all around. I'm just going to, as I talk to you, sort of swing round so you get an idea. So that's the crags leading up to Swirl Howe, and over there in the distance is Scafell Pike, blah, 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 walking poles, and the sea. And I'll tell you one thing, would not have had this if I'd gone for the lower level route. I'm so pleased that I chose this because it really has paid off. So I've reached the top of Swirl Howe. That's the cairn behind me, and I think that's the high spot of the day. I sincerely hope so. As I've been walking along, I've been torn because my brain, my eyes, my emotions are full of excitement and wanting to see the next hill and full of the joys of spring. And yet my body, in particular my lungs and my heart and my legs, well, let's just say they're not so keen, and they're starting to protest. It's such a glorious day that you just want to keep going and keep going. However, it's now 2 o'clock, so I've got a couple of hours of daylight left, and this is not the time for dawdling. I need to get down off the hills and down into Langdale well before we get to dusk, really. So enough prattling on and stopping to do filming and admire the view and have another piece of chocolate. It's time to get some miles in. All right, now I'm just coming down off Swellhow, and hooray, I can see my next stage of the journey. So I'll use my stick to that's Scafell Pike and Mickledore and Scafell, blah blah blah, Langdale Pikes, and down here is Red Tarn and Pike of Blisco above it. So my route is going to go down to Rhinos Pass and cut back up past the Tarn and drop down into Langdale, which is just the other side of those hills. It says on the map anyway. Okay, time for a very quick update. I've reached that's the Rhinos Pass, top of Rhinos Pass, come down off that hill there, very steep long descent, and now I've got to go all the way back up again up this track, which will take me to past Red Tarn, round the back of Pike of Blisco and in to Langdale. Woo-wee! Bring it on. Right, there it is, Red Tarn, lots of ducks swimming around on the top, oh, what a glorious evening. I've just turned a corner, literally just turned a corner, and stretched out in front of me, Langdale. What a beautiful sight at the end of the day. Oh, I'm at the valley bottom at Langdale. So now just a short stretch to the camp spot. Oh, you can tell it's getting dark, can't you? Yeah, the hills. There's a feeling of dusk about it now. I'll tell you what, lesson for today, or lesson for tomorrow morning, is I need to start earlier. We need to be on the trail, I think, first light. So I'm going to set the alarm a little bit earlier for tomorrow morning, because I've got quite a few miles to do tomorrow. Not quite as steep, hopefully, but a bit more distance. So I'm going to need to make the most of the daylight, I think. Well, I made it to the campsite in time, hallelujah, and also made it to the old Dungeon Guild for some curry and chips before it closed. So that was a nice result, so I'm very happy. Going to settle down now for a good night's rest. That's it for a fantastic day in the hills today. Let's look forward to tomorrow and see what that brings. Good night. Good morning, and I'm back on the trail. Another bright, frosty morning. Weather forecast still looks good, and more to the point, my tummy's full of bacon butty and hot coffee. So the world is looking like a good place right now for me. And today we're going to, there's one big climb, which is fairly early on. Once we've got that out of the way, and of course down the other side, then that's job done. This is the kind of situation where I'm so busy talking that I omit to do any kind of navigation and end up going wrong. So no offence, I'm going to get the map out in a second to make sure I know where I'm going. Can't really miss it actually, can you? So Stake Pass, that's where I'm going. So that's the route that I came down over the tops last night. And we're heading up to the end of the valley. Still a little bit of cloud hanging around over the tops. really is a dreamy morning. And although I've got the puffy on, I'll be shedding it as soon as we get to any sort of sign of an uphill section, because it's quite warm already now. The sun's come up and the frost has all gone, but my shadow is still quite long on the ground. So, and there it is as we round the corner up over that. Oh, I don't know. It looks a similar climb to the one up, the final one up Coniston Old Man yesterday. There's actually a little bit of a breeze that's picked up now. I got to the top of Langdale, if you like, but even so, I've stripped off the puffy down to the base layers because we've got to zigzag our way up this thing, the Stake Pass. I have a funny feeling I might get a bit warm on the way up, so wish me luck. Here we go. I might not stop. Actually, I might stop halfway up with a breather, but otherwise I'll see you at the top, eh? How hard can it be? Half an hour later, we're at the top, and there's this lovely sort of moraine field. And hopefully, before too long, the view will open up into the next valley, which is always a moment I really savour. You know, when it's like starting the new chapter in a book or something like that. When you crest a col or a bilac or a pass and see what's going to be coming up for the next day or something like that. Wow, I've just come round the corner of the path and this view has opened up in front of me. The lovely, deep, long valley of Langthwaite, and then there's the cloud over Keswick, I think, and then peeking up above those, Skiddaw, Blencathra, which is going to be tomorrow's walk. What a fantastic, stunning view. So the path goes down that valley and then at the bottom turns left. But it's quite a sharp drop down to the bottom, so wish me luck. Chugging along the valley, it's a really nice, isolated, peaceful valley, but the path's quite broken and rocky, so you have to kind of one of those paths where you have to keep checking where you're stepping so you don't end up flat on your face. I'm trying to make up some time here because I'm very conscious that I don't want to get stuck at dusk when it comes to looking for a pitch for the tent. There is, according to the guy's map, a pub. So having said all that about making up good time, it's going to be quite a test of my self-will. Do I stop at the pub for a bit of food and drink, or do I plough on regardless? Right, we made it down into Borrowdale. The good news is we're in Borrowdale, it's very scenic, it's pretty and relatively flat. There's bad news. So I got my head down and gave it a spurt of determination to get down to first Stonethwaite, where there's a pub marked on the map, and there is a pub, but at this time of year it's only open on Fridays, Saturdays and Sundays. Never mind, I said that. There's another village a mile later, and that's got a hotel marked on the map, which, as I came up to it, looked very much shut, as in shut. But there was a pub next door to it, an inn next door to it, closed for the off-season. So I go into the village, walk up past the village car park to where there's a cafe that's mentioned in the Cicerone guide, shut for the off season. So let's count them. Four potential places for me to stop and have a cup of tea or a cup of coffee and stare at the map and chill. All of them closed. Anyway, good news wise, carrying on from that, we seem to be making good progress on today's itinerary actually. Right, so I've got a plan, and looking at the map I spotted the famous hill of cat bells, which I've seen used as a campsite many a time, and it looks like it's got fantastic views if the weather's not too bad across Derwent Water down to Keswick and things like that. So I quite fancy myself spending the night on top of cat bells. Downside is it's a bit of a climb to get up there now, but I've got a bit of time. So the plan is to branch off the official route of the Cumbria Way and cut it diagonally up to cat bells, and I think I can see it through the trees now. Looks a bit tall. We'll be fine. Oh wow, that was a bit of a pull. But I'm at the top of Mart Beeld now, and over in the distance that's cat bells. Frustratingly, the cloud has dropped down, so the views aren't so good. Over to the other side, it's all very rugged and mountainous and Lake District looking, isn't it? I'll tell you what, I can't wait to get the tent up. That was a bit of a pull, and it wasn't helped that I got an extra 2 litres of water, so that's an amazing difference that makes the way to the pack. This is my camp spot for tonight, and those are the views. Derwent Water and Keswick in the distance through the cloud. Hey, epic! Ta-da! With the best intentions, didn't quite work out. My hope was that pitching here, there'd be this amazing, beautiful evening to appreciate and enjoy. Instead, the cloud has dropped. There have been a few breaks from time to time, but by the time I got the camera out, the clouds dropped again. So tough luck, I'm afraid. You just have to imagine herds of wildebeest sweeping majestically across the Serengeti, Hanging Gardens of Babylon, Sydney Opera House, all that in the distance. Who knows, in the morning it might be clear and bright. There's the merest hint of a breeze. It's not forecast to change overnight. A bit damp though, so high time to get inside the tent, get the stove fired up, get warmed up. Well, it's an early start this morning. I want to get going nice and early, so I set the alarm quite early, and I've woken up to this scene. Fantastic cloud inversion all the way over. Absolutely, that's the slope down Cat Bells, the inversion over Derwent Water and Keswick. Why'd you go wild camping, Charles? I'll tell you why. Look at it. One of the best, nicest mornings walks ever. I'm taking ages because I keep stopping and just looking at the view. I mean, why wouldn't you? And especially over there, the way that the mist is just sitting there with little hilltop islands, and the sky is just turning this nice rosy pink colour as the sun's coming up. It's about 7 a.m. I'm so glad I set my alarm early this morning. Wow, did it pay off. Wow, amazing. I think this is one of the nicest mornings to wake up to I've ever had. Absolutely stunning. Absolutely fantastic. I'm so happy that I'm here. That was Keswick, been and gone. I've never seen so many outdoor equipment shops in one place. It was quite distracting. I had to keep eyes forward, don't look at the shiny rucksacks. But I did manage to find a very good breakfast indeed. I'll put a link to the restaurant in the description. Well recommended. And so full now, ready for the rest of the day. And to be honest with you, after all the bustle and the traffic of Keswick, it's quite nice to be back on the trail again. I just want to give you a quick look at the skyline behind me. Look at that. Glorious. I keep stopping to turn around and look at it, but I must carry on. The sun is up and it's getting quite warm. In fact, it's very warm. So I'm walking sort of diagonally across the hillside, and beneath me is just an unfolding panorama of beautiful Lake District scenery. I'm very conscious that I'm sounding a little bit puffed now, but don't let that give you the wrong impression. I'm fine. Just rounded a corner, came through a gate, and up in front of me, Skiddaw House Hostel, nestling in a circle of trees there. And off to the right is my route for the rest of today. This is the path up to Skiddaw House, and there's a little boggy patch here. And I just got to say, look how rutted and chewed up it has been by the tracks of mountain bikes. Now, I'm not saying that feet don't chew up the path as well, but this is a real mess, and it's all just mountain bike wheel tracks everywhere. So this is Skiddaw House Hostel. It's closed this time of year. I think it looks a bit bleak and a bit gloomy, to be absolutely honest with you, but it's got an amazing situation with commanding views over the hills and the moorland. Now what I'm going to do is find myself a sunny spot to take 5, and I might get the tent out, drape it over the wall and let it dry out a bit in this lovely sunshine. And I found a pretty anonymous spot, but there's lots of nice heather around. So I've set it up like Widow Twankey's laundry. I've got the tent fly sheet and the inner separate. The inner's not too bad because I dropped them separately this morning. The outer's a bit damp from condensation. I'm hoping with this breeze, bit of sunshine, it'll dry out in no time at all. It'll be nice and dry, ready for tonight. Look at the view down the valley. It's absolutely stunning. It's a gorgeous afternoon. There's a nice blue sky. It's not too hot because there's a nice gentle cool breeze. So it's a nice balance. The path it's clear, but it's a bit uneven, occasionally a bit chewed up. But so if I wobble whilst I'm talking, I am so, but honestly it's the path that's a bit uneven. I haven't seen anyone for 2 hours. I've got the path to myself, got this area of the Northern Fells to myself. It's a beautiful day, blissful trail. I'm nicely on schedule for my target for the day of high pike. And I just wanted to put a marker down, as if to say, just to record this moment. I really, really adore this being here and this kind of walking now with my pack on my back. I don't know what it is, just because I feel very familiar with it and very comfortable, knowing that what I'm doing, where I'm going, or whatever it is. In a way, I don't want to over-examine it. I just want you to know I'm really happy doing this right now. I'm kind of in my element, if you like. It's fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Well, that sun's really bright and low, and it's been right behind me all the way down the valley. And so I've got to kind of a conjunction where the path actually turns sharp left and goes up this valley. You might be able to make out a small black dot at the very top. That's a little bothy hut, the Lingy hut. And so basically we go up there, climb, gets a bit steep at the end, and then pop out onto the top of the fells. It sounds so easy when you put it like that, doesn't it? Just go along there, pop out on the top of the fells. It's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon now, starting to get a bit gloomy. The sun's just setting over the hills in the distance. I had a quick look around the Lingy Hut. What a nice place that is, very clean. Bijou little place, and certainly a godsend in bad weather. So High Pike's best part of a mile away. So we're going to saunter off in that direction. Call that pull up from the valley to the Lingy Hut was a bit of a peach, as Ray Smith would say. Now I'm on the top. I want to make the most of it. And the views, apparently, as we go further northwards, open up a lot as well. So, having put all the effort into the climb, I don't really want to cut myself short and miss out on some amazing scenery. It's also noticeably cooler up here now, hence the natty headgear. Oh, I tell you what though, this nice high level walking on grassy ridges with amazing views, this will do. I like this. I don't know if this is going to come out, it's a bit gloomy, but that is High Pike in the distance, and all around in the valleys we've already got a cloud inversion. No, there isn't a steam train puffing up to the top of High Pike. It's the sound of me puffing and panting and wheezing my way up this last precious few meters to the top of High Pike, which marks the high spot of the trail, and we are ending on a high. Oh my word, oh my days. Oh wow, wow. Holy moly. Right, so that's it. The high spot of the Cumbria Way. I've made it. Not too much daylight left, but I cannot tell you, I'm trying to find the words to express how wonderful it is up here. All around there's a sea of inversions and clouds everywhere I look, and then there's the hills with the clouds spilling off them, and then the sky is this luminescent salmon pink where the sunshine's catching the clouds. It's absolutely stunning, and for me, yeah, this is the high point of the trail, and I can't think of a better point to end this story of my journey for now. Tomorrow I'm dropping down off the hills. I've got some transport arranged, and the rest of the trail is fairly mundane, so I think it's best and fitting that we end on a High Pike. What better way, and what a fantastic few days I've had. Thank you so much for sticking with me all the way along. Hope you've enjoyed it. It's been absolutely fantastic. Thank you everyone.